Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Just wanted to hop on today, talk a little bit about this case knife. Just came across this recently and I don't have much to say about it because I don't know too much about this particular knife other than it's a case razor Barlow style from the 1970s, I believe. Let me just take a look. 19, this would be 1970, I believe it's 1971. It's 9 dots. And I believe that, I'm still, as you guys all know, I'm still on my case Odyssey adventure here. I've been getting into case lately, learning about it. They make it so complicated to, like, I guess that's what people like about it, but they could just stamp on there 1971, but they won't do that. You gotta like know the way to understand the dots. You've got to know what tang stamp they're using, what decade it is. So I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's hard. It's hard to get into when you're new to case. Um, for those not new or those not familiar with my channel, I'm mostly familiar with Shat Morgan, GEC. Back in the day, I used to have in a prior part of my collecting journey, I was into Northwoods, which was made by Queen and GEC for a while. But case I just never dove into until more recently. Like I had a few, right? Like everybody has a few just like laying around, but I didn't collect them. But now I'm getting more into them, especially some of these older things I've been coming across, and this is one of them. I think this is just like pretty impressive. Um, it's hard to describe, but when you pick this thing up, you're like, holy crap, this thing is solid. It feels like you're holding some um kind of like some type of real heavy instrument. The way you would feel like about picking up like a full um all steel like firearm, right? Like you're like, wow, that's got some weight. That's what this is like. And I just automatically feel like when I'm the action, like it's solid. You feel like you're really, I feel scared just closing it, honestly. I usually like I'll snap these things closed with one hand usually, and I'm like a little scared because I feel like if I get something caught in there, it's goodbye finger. Um but it really speaks to kind of when people say, "Oh, they don't make it like they used to." I think they're talking about this. They're like, case knives, they used to be made different. This was made to be used. Um Looks like it's mostly all steel except for the liners here, brass. I believe this looks like, and I can't tell, but I believe this is Delrin handles. I'm pretty sure. I don't believe it's bone. I just don't think it's bone. Sometimes you can feel it, but oh man, it's stout. This is mostly a reaction video to the actual knife. I don't have much to say. I don't know about the lore of these knives. People say that these one-arm knives were made to be opened with one arm and all that. I'm not going to get into all that today, but I just think it's a cool looking knife. I personally like the blade. I think it's just a very usable knife. It's got like a nice little tip that lets you use that, but it also, kind of is nice and easy to open too, because you do have this, if you wanted to go ahead and use that, you could to open it, or you can just pull it open. But it's a very usable knife, and it's a good size. It's actually bigger than I thought it would be, heavier than I thought it would be. So I will do a quick little compare and contrast to a more modern version of case. So right here we've got this is the case Autumn Bone Deep Canyon Jig Razor. So this was one that is from the 2024 run that case made, and this is in carbon steel as it says right here. But if you just hold these two, you'll know right away like they're different. It's almost like a different company made them. Like it just feels different. Not I don't want to say bad, but different. Just a different feel in terms of size and substantial. And of course, this is a two blade model, but like I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's the construction just feels different. I'll try to exemplify a couple things. Um, the pins from the older vintage model here are the pins here are very thin compared to the ones they use here. They're beefy. They're really beefy. Um, you know, the liners, you can't really tell here, but the liners here are just thicker. And I would say that the bolsters, again, it's hard to compare directly. I'm not going to get too much into it, but the bolsters, and again, this is a different model and a completely different, it's a Barlow style, but just the thickness of this is like completely night and day. Where you hear, you just feel like it's going to be a thinner, and again, it's a different knife, so we're comparing kind of apples to oranges. And I like this knife too, by the way. And there's a separate video for this knife, and it's much easier to carry this knife. Aesthetics of this knife is different, but I don't know. It just feels lighter. There's a little more wiggle, just ever so, for those who are into like fit and finish, it's a little bit more, you know, there's a little wiggle here. And I'll tell you what else. You can see like the centering is off, right? It's off, major off. Whereas you've got, for this knife, actually this knife is a little bit off center too, so we'll forgive that. But just wanted to hop on, just do some initial impressions of these two knives in comparison. I mean, they're separated by, gosh, what now? 40 plus years of difference in age. But it's kind of cool just to look back. It's almost like a time machine to see what they were making back then versus what they're making today. And a lot of people like to talk about the quality and this and that and criticize case or not criticize case. But for me, I like to think of it more along the lines of, the priorities were probably different back then. That's a good way of putting it. Back then, they were using these knives, working with these knives. Today, these knives are probably, they're definitely usable as work knives, but I don't think that they're churning these out to go hard into work as much. They're still usable for work, and I think people do use them for work. But our whole mentality in almost half a century has changed from making stuff that was supposed to last forever, so you never have to like stop working to replace it, to, over those 40 years or so since this was made, our society has gotten more used to like having multiples of things, like having multiple staplers, having multiple knives, having multiple tape dispensers. Like everything that we use in our house, we have probably access to getting more than one. And if this were something to happen to it, you'd just take out another one, and that's not the way things were, I don't think, back in the day. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I wasn't alive 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, but I just feel like back in the day, people bought one, they kept it, they didn't lose it. If there's something were to happen to this, they would repair it and they would continue about their day and their work. But they didn't just buy just like multiples of things and replace them and go on Amazon and get it next day. That's what I think. So part of it is that they don't make things the same way, but they also just, the focus and priority consumer wise is different. That's at least kind of my theory on why things aren't made the same way. But there is definitely a difference in kind of the construction. Now, if they probably could make it like this again, but would we buy it? Would we appreciate something as stout and as thick and as kind of durable as this? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure collectors would like it, but it would definitely come with a price, right? So anyway, I wanted to jump on, talk a little bit about this one. I don't know if it's going to hang around in my collection, but while it's here, I wanted to kind of just document this and show it off. What do you guys think? How you guys feel? Case Razor from 1971. Still kicking. Dull as can be, but really it's kind of a real throwback to when they were making these for guys who you probably used them every day. Just something really charming about it too. What do you guys think? Leave your comments, subscribe. I appreciate all your likes and all your comments. I'm responding to each and every single one. I haven't missed one, I don't think, yet. So I love talking to you guys. Let me know what you think, and any ideas on future videos, let me know. Hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.